मैं रूबी भाटी हूँ और ये मेरी आप बीती है। ये सब कुछ मेरे साथ हुआ है। मैंने राष्ट्रीय महिला आयोग दिल्ली को इसमें इन्वॉल्व किया, उनको ईमेल लिखी, उनका रिस्पॉन्स आया मुझे। उन्होंने मुझसे सबूत मांगे, यहाँ से कागजात मांगे और गवाहों के बारे में भी जानकारी मैंने उन्हें दी। मैंने उन्हें सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स प्रोवाइड किए, जो भी कोर्ट के डॉक्यूमेंट थे, और उन्होंने इस पर कार्रवाई करते हुए गाज़ियाबाद के कमिश्नर को इसमें इन्वॉल्व किया और उनसे आगे कार्रवाई करने के लिए बोला। तो क्योंकि मैं उस ईमेल पे कॉपीड थी, तो मैंने कमिश्नर ऑफ पुलिस से इसके बारे में पूछा कि क्या कार्रवाई हुई है। तो जब भी मैं उन्हें ईमेल लिखती हूँ ये पूछने के लिए कि इस केस में क्या कार्रवाई हुई है, मुझे हमेशा बस एक ही बात वो पूछते हैं कि ये कौन सा थाना पड़ेगा। मैंने उन्हें बताया कि मैंने आपको पता बता दिया है, आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि ये पता कौन से थाने में पड़ता है। मेरी यही विनती थी कि ये इस मामले में सहायता कर सकते हैं।
मुझे ये वीडियो बनानी पड़ी क्योंकि मेरे पति और ससुराल वाले मेरे बारे में अपमानजनक और अभद्र बातें कर रहे हैं, मुझ पर तरह तरह के लांछन लगा रहे हैं, मामले की इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रही पुलिस को झूठे बयान दे रहे हैं। ये मेरे पति द्वारा पुलिस कमिश्नर गाज़ियाबाद को दिया बयान है, जिसमें उन्होंने अमेरिका वाली वारदात को झूठा बता दिया है।
Hi, my name is Jean Janduza. I wanted to just share a little bit about Ruby Bate and Ajay Bate and their two girls, Tina and Aradia. There was one clue that prompted me that Ruby wasn't doing well, and this was in the year 2022. I had noticed that her in-laws from India were staying with them, and she held my hand and she squeezed it and said, "Oh, Jean, I'm really having some trouble. I've got to talk." And I said, "Well, I'm always here. I'm here for you." And Ajay was not normal. And it was about 8:35, 8:45, and there was a doorbell ring and a rap at the door and then a pounding at the door, and we kind of missed it at first, but then the pounding of the door, it was like a repeat pounding, and our dog then started to bark, and we went to the door, we turned on the lights. It was Ruby, and Ajay was there, and Ruby was screaming and said, "I need your help, I need your help." And Ajay pulled Ruby by her hair, pulled her back, dragged her from the front step, down the step, pulling her hair into the middle of the grass and just pounding her face, pounding her head, pounding her face. It was like, oh my God. Like I said, "Maddie, get your phone. Who is their phone? We've got to call 911. I dialed 911. The Lindenhurst police stayed on the phone. I was on the phone. He was battering her and pulling her hair, and Ruby was screaming, and it was bad. By this time, Ajay dragged Ruby back to his house. Pulled her, dragged her on the street. We were on the phone with 911. Ruby managed to get away from Ajay at her house and ran back, and we already had the door open. The lights were on. Her two girls ran across the street. They came in. We closed the doors. We locked the doors. Ajay then started pounding on our doors saying, "Let me in, let me in. I must see Ruby. You let me in now." And he was pounding on the door. I said, "Ajay, no." The two girls were in the house. Around her neck, she had red marks from him squeezing her neck. The girls were in shock. Ruby was in shock. They handcuffed Ruby and the girls were put under order of protection with her and their home and the two girls. In the meantime, Ajay has fled our country. He skipped parole. He somehow was not flagged at the airport. He's left the country. Before he left, took all of the bank accounts that were in his name. Now we really need a call for justice. He has fled the United States. He left his job. He left all of his court cases that he skipped, being on probation, being on parole. The house has gone into foreclosure. Took all the money. Ruby doesn't have anything. The girls don't have anything. But there has to be a fairness. He has responsibility to his two girls. He must be paying for these two girls until they're at least 18. He needs to be sending money to Ruby and the girls, and he is not paying any money. The Indian authorities need to be contacted, and we are going full force ahead in bringing this to justice.
My name is Shama Parikh, and I am a family law attorney here in Lake County, Illinois. I've been practicing primarily matrimonial law for about 23 years, and I had the honor of representing Ruby Bhatti in her divorce case against Ajay Kumar. Ruby came to me in early 2024. Unfortunately, between 2023 and 2024, there had been a criminal felony case where her husband, after years of domestic violence and abuse upon her, was finally charged with a Class 2 felony. He was charged with aggravated domestic battery related to bodily harm, unlawful restraint, and strangulation. Mr. Kumar decided he was not going to financially contribute to support his wife, to support his children, or to help pay for the marital residence that they had bought during the marriage, and which had a fair amount of equity in it. So we filed a case in May of 2024. We did get the petition to Mr. Kumar. He came into Lake County, filed his appearance. Ruby and I then filed a petition for temporary support so she could get alimony, she could get child support, and again, she could get some monies to help her with saving the residence because that was very important to her, especially for the children. Unfortunately, Ajay had been transferring lump sums of money, over $3,000 a month, to India out of the jurisdiction of Ruby and the United States. He had also cashed out completely his retirement, which was over $75,000. And as I mentioned, the house was just going unpaid for, and it was only in his name. So Ruby was not getting any paperwork or information for the house, and she was doing her best to try to save it. She worked with Wells Fargo, but even though they wanted to help her, they were just unable to because legally the house was only in Ajay's name. And for whatever reason, he was willing to just let all of this equity, almost $100,000, just go away and give it up instead of giving it to his wife or saving it for his children. There were offers made and they were all either rejected or they were ignored. As a wife, as a mother, how she could be treated this way. We had exhausted all avenues here in the US, and I really do wish her the best of luck. I hope she finds the relief that she needs so that she can heal and so that she can provide the future that she deserves, not just for herself, but definitely for her two little girls.